What's up, guys? Stephen One Boy Thompson.
It's the IBF champion, Errol Spence Jr.
This is Cynthia Calvio.
Hi, this is Michaela Mayer.
This is Derek the Black Beast Slows.
This is Daniel Miracle Man Jacob. Shout out to Kendrick and Matt.
And you're listening to
the Slip and Dip podcast
With your boy Kendrick and Matt.
And you're listening to Kendrick and Matt on the Slip and Dip podcast.
What is up, people? Welcome back to the Slip and Dip podcast, episode number 55, coming at you on a Sunday evening. I am Matthew Wells. Alongside me, as always, Kendrick Johnson. We got a lot to talk about. The world of sports is on fire. Triple Crown winners, Warriors, NBA champions, but we're here to talk about combat sports, world of boxing, and MMA. Kendrick, a lot going on in boxing, man.
Action-packed weekend. We had two major cards in Vegas, major card in LA, had UFC in Chicago. So if you like pugilism specialists, this was the weekend for you.
Absolutely. And on this episode of the show, we do have three fantastic guests, three repeat guests, great friends of the show. Kicking off, we will have Mr. Neil Magny, UFC welterweight.
Why is he on here?
Why is he on here? I mean, because, he balled and got the call, right? That's what we're doing here, right? So Neil gets the call. He talks about his win and a lot of other stuff going on, gets inside UFC 225. Same with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. He really did ball, but he didn't get the judge's call, but he still got the call from us. So we talked to Stephen about a lot of things, and Dean Thomas as well. So we get to dive into a lot of things in the world of MMA, whether they all prefer morning or afternoon weigh-ins. Hottest topic in the world right now when it comes to fighters and them having a voice in the world of the UFC and the decisions that go on. But we'll get into all that later. Kendrick, man, tell me what's going on in this world of boxing, because like you said, man, a lot of stuff went down.
I actually didn't see the Terence Crawford fight. I saw highlights. I don't know why somebody said all these people are surprised. Jeff Horn was a fraud. That's why he fought a real fighter, not a semi-retired one. Got that ass whooped. That fight was over when they signed the contract.
Yeah, I saw bits and pieces of it, man, and it wasn't competitive.
I knew it was gonna go. So I'm glad I missed that because I was jumping back and forth. I'm streaming BS ESPN Plus on my computer. I'm sitting there driving the Hooters to go watch the fight and stuff with the old lady at Hooters. So I'm sitting there was juggling. But a little word of y'all advice for y'all people that y'all see these fighters but don't talk to them. And then, Errol needs to fight. Errol Spence, who fights Saturday at the Star, will be there, second row ringside. It's a busy fight. I think he'll get up with him 4 or 5 rounds. But people want to see Spence and Crawford fight. But as he said, you take care of your side of the street, I'll take care of my side of the street, and we'll handle each other when it's good. Basically, when that money's good, which is the way they should go about it.
For sure. Also in action, Jermell Charlo.
Charlo did his thing. Austin Trout's actually fought both. He's the only person that's fought both Charlos and let it tell about it. He got put on his ass twice. Some people say he got outboxed, but I think Charlo knew he had the 2 knockdowns in his pocket, so he didn't go for it. And he did what he had to do to be in still. And I dare somebody come at him at 154 because they about that life. As they say, lions only. Did you see him come to the ring and his line get up?
I didn't see the entrance, but I saw bits and pieces of the fight as I was watching UFC as well. But I mean, he did what he had to do. It looked like he had a little bit of trouble at times, but I mean, he was winning the fight on the cards. There was no question.
Austin Charles, as a savvy veteran, he's been in the ring with Cotto, Canelo, his brother, him. He's fought some serious people, so there's gonna take a ton to get him out of there. But he got his hand raised. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. And then the main event. I went to this fight 3 years ago. Mars and Santa Cruz won. It's in my top 3 of wildest fights I've ever seen. That fight was nuts. This one not so more nuts. It was controlled chaos. It'd be like boom, 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 boom. And then they just sit there and relax and just chill for about 10, 15 seconds. Boom, 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 boom. It was like you hit me, I hit you. And Santa Cruz won. I had them 7-5. I had it closer than what they had on the judges' fights card. But I think if he fights the same way against Mr. Gary Russell, he gonna lose those straps again.
Yeah, like this article that I have pulled up here, it should mimic the first fight, and it felt that way for me for what I saw. I saw most of the fight. Again, I wasn't paying full attention enough to score it, but I was watching it, you know, keeping an eye on that and the UFC at the same time. So from what I was seeing, I mean, it was action-packed just like the first fight, but if you ask me, you know, who won the fight, I couldn't tell you because I wasn't, again, watching that closely. But it definitely looked back and forth. But you think Santa Cruz?
Santa Cruz won. He controlled the action. Mars couldn't get inside because Mars is only 5'4", so he couldn't get inside to make him pay. Because when he did get inside, he did good work. He just didn't do it enough to get that nod.
And making those adjustments, right?
I felt bad for him because he fought a good fight. It's just not it's a style thing more than he just need to hang it up. I think Mr. Mares will be around for a little while. He still got a lot left in the tank. He doesn't match up with Mares. I mean, match up with Santa Cruz.
Yeah, it's tough, man. So let's pick up on UFC 225. Obviously, we talk about UFC 225 a lot with our guests on the show today, but let's touch on some things, man. I guess let's start at the bottom real quick. We won't go into depth on every fight. I just want to touch on a couple of highlights. So early Fight Pass prelims, Rashad Evans. It's that time to hang him up. You know, it sounds like he's in agreement. You know, Anthony Smith went out there, gave him a devastating knee straight to the jaw, and his night was over in the first round. So, Rashad, I mean, former light heavyweight champion, probably will be in the UFC Hall of Fame at some point. But man,
the game passed him by. Or as one of our guests likes to say, he didn't let the game get. He didn't get the game. He let the game get him.
Yeah. I do want to give a shout out to Jose Youngs, who was there covering the event this weekend. He did a thing at Media Day asking all the fighters, would they accept an invite to the White House from President Trump to go visit President Trump at the White House, however you want to state that. But Rashad gave one of the best answers out of all of them, I think, and it was pure, it was honest, and it was one of those things. The question kind of caught him off guard, but he gave probably the best answers. If you haven't seen it, go check it out on Fansided's YouTube page to hear that answer, and all the other fighters' answers as well, because some of them are pretty interesting. And from some of the fighters you would expect, I don't know what you expect. CM Punk's answer was awesome too, but we'll get to that too.
From all the other, I actually watched the prelims. I watched all the prelims except what was the fight after Coulter and them?
Ricardo Lamas.
Yeah, I didn't watch Lamas. It's
a good fight. It's a good fight.
But I watched every fight from all the prelim stuff for that win, all the ones on the main card. So yeah, man, I was tuned in while flipping back. But one thing that's to me is getting more and more noticeable is people talk about how some of these ladies can't fight and why they in UFC. They're getting more technical than the guys. Some of these guys can learn a thing or two on how to cut off the damn octagon. Like you saw Holly do it. You saw Carla Esparza give herself a chance by doing it.
Right.
The Carla Esparza a year and a half ago couldn't do that, and she had no chance. By her actually had to win in the fight, but by her cutting off the ring, she gave herself a chance. And then you see somebody as great as he is, Yoel Romero, not cutting off the ring, and he took him in the deep, and I mean deep waters. Yeah. He let Robert Whitaker off the hook because he couldn't go off the octagon.
We'll get to that in a second, but our guest on the show that we had on last episode, Rashad Coulter, had a damn good fight for first round. The first round was crazy.
He broke his hand. I just saw on Twitter his X-ray.
Broke his hand and still continued. Went out there tried to get the job done. Couldn't get it done against Chris De La Roca. Coach Safe had probably one of the funniest moments in the corner after the first round. If you haven't heard that, go check that out as well. In his advice to Rashad, but tough fight, man. Big dude like that just wouldn't go out, and obviously a broken hand. And there was a slip up that ended up getting Rashad to the ground, but. It's a tough fight, man. Rashad doesn't know how to have a boring fight. I'll give him that much. And then to cap off the prelims, Curtis Blades, man. Curtis Blades looked amazing against Alistair Overeem, second K1 champion in a row he's faced and defeated emphatically. And it's hard to argue if this guy is next in line for this title shot after this DC and Stipe thing shakes out. So we'll see how the UFC plays it. But if you're asking me, Curtis Blades deserves that next shot at the title because he absolutely ran through Alistair Overeem in his hometown, crowd, eruption, everything. Perfect moment for him.
Does he skip say for instance Black Beast beats Francis? Does he skip him? Because Black Beast, I know he don't care about the title shot, but
it depends on how that fight plays out.
Done, especially if he beats Francis. Derek's resume would be way better than.
It depends on how that plays out because if Derek, you know how Derek Lewis makes fights sometimes. He kind of, Likes to draw things out a little bit, takes his time. And if that fight plays out like that, and if Francis looks like he did in the late rounds against Stipe, people are going to go, they're going to want to see Curtis in there, who went out there and put elbows on Alistair Overeem. Blasted his forehead open. So
he did a great job, but when I see him, I don't think he could be a Cormier. I don't think he could be a Stipe.
I don't know, man.
Think so. He makes two mistakes.
I don't know. I saw a lot of improvements in his hand game last night. So every single time he stopped in there, he's always looked better. Every single time he's looked better. So we'll see. Kicking off the main card, CM Punk, Mike Jackson. Here's what it is. Mike did what he had to do. I do not like how Dana responded to the fight.
Yeah, I meant though, he was playing a little too much in the octagon.
So Mike said after the fight he was looking over at his corner for instruction, which that's what he said, and he's back. He said that immediately after the fight, and then he went to Twitter and said it. So, I mean, I kind of got to take his word on it. I mean, his corner was over in that direction, and if people want to say he was playing around, maybe I can see how you could think that, but at the same time, he 30-26 CM Punk. It's not that easy to get guys out of there all the time. So, hey, he did what he had to do. But this reaction of people and Dana saying that, you know, he's a disgrace to the sport and all this stuff. Like, what? What are you talking about? Like, his opponents he had to go get CT scans. Like, you're mad because he showboated a little bit after the fact, too? Come on now. I don't get all that. I do want to touch on Megan Anderson, Holly Holm. Great game plan. Executed to the T. Screwed everything about Megan's size difference, put her on her back, and just dominated that fight from bell to whistle, you know. So great on Holly Holm. She looked amazing. Probably sets her up for that title fight against Amanda Nunes with the winner facing Cyborg. I like it.
Crazy fight.
Yeah, I like that. I like how this is playing out. But your boy Colby Covington.
Why you gotta be my boy? I've never even interviewed him.
That's your boy, though. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, Colby gets it done, and
to me, he didn't do enough. Like, okay, he had position.
He did more than RDA.
He didn't do no work. He didn't do no damage.
He did more than RDA. That's all it was. Controlled him against the fence, kept putting that pressure on him, forward pressure. His hands looked better as the fight went on, but maybe that's because RDA was tiring out. But yeah, you got to give Colby credit, man. He won the fight. He despite the shtick, the gimmick, he got the job done, and gets his hand raised. And now, you know, I have a theory on how this all played out. Him playing this MAGA angle. We talk about it with Dean Thomas. You know, if you follow my Twitter, it's already out there on my Twitter. I said it right after the fight because it was like I had an epiphany. I was like, oh my God, all of this makes sense now. But yeah, I don't want to spoil that here because it'll take up too much time in the intro. But
I am hoping for a slip though. I want to be right there. My ass gonna be right there, boy. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that epic moment. Yeah. I just want to be there.
Yeah, we talk about all that good stuff with Dean, so don't miss that part of the conversation with Dean Thomas coming up here in just a few minutes. And of course, in the main event was what it was, non-title fight. Robert Whittaker, Yoel Romero 2. Fight of the year candidate for me.
That what round was that? Was that the third? The third round could have been round of the year.
Hey, I don't understand
his IQ. I know he didn't cut off the ring. I don't know because it's lack of energy, but his fight IQ went up for me because he parried everything. I was like, what's this man doing? He just waiting to explode. Like, come on, man, come close. Bam, bam, bam. And then he emptied the tank and took Robert Whittaker in the deep waters. Only to see him barely keep his head above water and survive and live to tell about it.
That's what Yoel does, man. It kind of surprised me as the fight was playing out, like why so many people were like, "What is Yoel doing in the first and second round?" Like, have you got Yoel Romero fights because
he exploded.
Because third round Romero is the thing. Third round Romero is probably the most
lethal dude in the UFC.
No, it's like, you know, you have the MMA superlatives. Third round Romero is probably the biggest one in the sport. And with 6 third-round finishes to his credit in the UFC, as soon as that second round did it, I was like, oh boy, strap in. And yep, like you said, probably round of the year. Also considering that Robert Whittaker was fighting with a broken hand too.
The injuries, like, I'm glad he did his thing, but the injuries I don't really put no stock into that because, like, It's part of part of the game.
Yeah, but I'm saying like to go out there and give you, like you said, that round of the year type vibe with a broken hand too. That you gotta come on, man. That's not easy for anybody. Not easy for anybody, especially against Yoel Romero, an absolute monster. And I think Yoel can get away with that slow, methodical pace because
he can eliminate those 2 rounds he gave away in like 10 seconds because that's exactly what he did. And he was taking blows, but he wasn't taking like significant. I don't know why he didn't check those kicks, but other than that, hands wise, he really wasn't taking them. He kind of looked like a mini. If I won't go there like with Floyd's defense. But he knew what was going on the whole time. And it's like you knew he was going to explode. You just didn't know when. And when he exploded, he did not.
Exactly. And that's what keeps his opponents kind of off. You know, they got to keep their guard high up because they don't know when he's going to pop back at him, like full speed. He did that a couple times, you know, in the later rounds too. It looked like, oh, he's gassed out. Nope. Here comes a blitz of like 3 punches. Like, and here comes a spinning back fist that may knock anybody.
He did 3 of them. I think that catches 95% of the UFC. He catches one. He gets somebody at least with one. I think everybody in the top 10, except for maybe. I'm trying to think somebody who could get away from that in that division.
I mean, hey, Robert. Hey. If it's anybody besides Robert Whitaker, I think he catches somebody with at least one of those. And
maybe a GSP, because he's not going to even give him that position.
Well, what is GSP right now? Is he 185? Is he 170? Is he 155? We don't know. I know he likes dinosaurs. I do know that much. So we'll see. But that's UFC 225. It was an incredible card through and through. The very first fight of the night all the way to the end. I mean, it was exciting. It was exciting. So great card. Great work by the UFC. Putting together an awesome card, even though we had, you know, the whole CM Punk thing kind of thrown in there. But hey, I will say this though: media day, watching all the videos with CM Punk, man, I'm a fan of the dude himself. Like I really am. Like he's got. I like the way.
Hey,
like the way he carries
your boy Mike gonna get mad at you.
Why?
That's Phil Brooks.
Oh my goodness. Look, CM Punk, Phil Brooks, whatever you want to call him. He's a good dude, but hey, this is not the game for you, man. Not the game for you right now, especially in the UFC. I mean, if you want to keep doing it, maybe some local regional shows, maybe some smaller promotions, but UFC level, it's over, son. It's over. But like I said, I am a fan of the man. His response to the media day were awesome. So
did you clock off that intro? You heard that?
That entire fight was there purely for entertainment value, and we got that from both walkouts. Mike doing the eating up the booze, coming out to little flip, game over.
That little flip.
Yeah, coming out to little flip. It was all good. It was a nice breakup from all of the serious high level fighting we saw. And even then, like I said, Mike did his thing, man. He did his thing. I don't understand the negative backlash to this fight for him.
Do you think you see Mike Jackson back in the octagon one more time?
Probably, yes. Probably so. I really, even though Dana emphatically said, you know, anytime Dana emphatically says something on the night of when he's all emotional, probably the opposite's going to happen. There's too many instances of it. So I'm not just kind of just saying that, but, you know, that's the thing. Dana says something, the opposite happens. Here's multiple instances of that. So if Mike wants to do it, I would lean towards him probably having another shot in the UFC if he wants to pursue it. One of those things he said, he's not really, you know, trying to climb up the rankings or anything like that. he knows what it is. Like he said after the fight again too, like just to reiterate for everybody that hadn't heard it. Like he knows where he's at. He knows what this all is. It was an opportunity. He took advantage of it. So hey, we'll see. But we are about 15 minutes in here on our intro. 19 minutes, actually. Wow. 3 fantastic interviews coming up for you guys. Anything else you want to get into before we hit up these?
Hey, please enjoy an action-packed show. We take this very seriously, and we keep it going. And keep those comments going on our YouTube page. As crazy they are, the more attention, hey, we all about at least y'all know who we are now.
Yeah. Absolutely. We don't have any extremely touchy subjects to interview these guests on this time, so you know, hopefully you guys enjoy them. They're all friends of the show. They all know us well, so it's a lot more a lot more natural back and forth. You know, it's not a new guest who we're coming into like, hey, let's talk about this extremely uncomfortable thing with you right now. So it is what it is. But like we said, Neil Magny, Stephen Thompson, Dean Thomas coming at you guys. Follow the show at Slip and Dip Podcast, iTunes, Spreaker, YouTube. Subscribe to the channels. Please leave comments, likes, and reviews, all that good stuff. Follow us at Kendrick Johnso on Twitter, Instagram, and at Mr. Imwell's Art on Twitter and Instagram as well. Hit us up. Let us know how you like the show. And enjoy the rest of episode 55.